Okay, so back inside the house. This is a utility room. We've had to stud this off, which if you remember me saying, we've got a poo pipe coming down here. So that's servicing the bathroom, the family bathroom upstairs. So that's going to end up being like a thick pillar where we've got a door frame to go in and we've got a bit of stud wall to go here. So there'll be a door going here. And then what we've had to do then is up the top, we've had to box all this poo pipe in again. So poo pipe comes to here, that's where the toilet is upstairs, and then everything beyond that is showers and sinks and other bits and bobs. So we've got the copper work in there, we've got some other bits and bobs going in, we've got some electric going in. So basically all that will get lagged, not just for the thermal values around the copper work, but also to stop any sound, so any water or anything flowing through the dirty water pipes. Obviously that'll mask that sound, so help with that. So that'll all get plastered, plasterboarded and then plastered in. Obviously windows in, as we've said. And then as we go down, Wayne has now pressured all the copper work to make sure there's no leaks anywhere. So what he's done is he's gone round, he's put all the copper work in, everything's done and finished, and everything is capped off to the point of where it's going to be used. And then what he does, before we cover anything up, he pressurizes the system, he leaves it pressurized, and basically he just keeps checking it every hour, then the day, then the following day, and as long as we haven't lost any pressure, we know we've got no leaks. Stud work is in to mask all that face off because there's an abundance of stuff going on at the back. So obviously we've got the flow and return feeds that go up there to the manifold that services the underfloor heating upstairs. We've got all the hot, cold and return pipe for all the water that services the bathroom. And then we've got all the aircon pipes, which we've hidden all them aircon units up in like the loft space so that just the air ducting is servicing the room. So all of that is everything going up there. So that's like a back, and then we'll have a unit in here and everything will all be hidden and you won't see any of it, but we can still get in to service anything we need for the manifold for the underfloor heating stuff. So that's all that. This is obviously my dumbwaiter, which we've had numerous problems trying to get the bloody thing over the line, but I think we finally got the design done now. So that is a lift shaft, like you see on Home Alone, or Jurassic Park actually, where they're trying to pull the chute down to get away from the Raptor. So when I'm trying to get away from Edwina, that's exactly where I'm going, in there, and up I go. Go to the kitchen. Okay, so in the kitchen then, we have got obviously the poo pipe coming down there, which services the ensuite upstairs. Again, we've got the feeds coming now for the hot water. This is basically to service the kitchen. So all the water comes in from the pump and everything over where we just were in the utility, and it basically goes up, services the whole house, and the last part on the run, it comes back down to service the kitchen. So we've lagged everything there. Because we're sort of operating ground source heating and it runs at lower temperatures, we don't want to lose any degrees in temperature. So we've lagged everything to help that, and also I don't want the transfer of heat between the hot and the cold. So when you turn the cold tap on and you have to let it run until it eventually goes cold, I want to try and combat as much of that as possible. So we've lagged everything as well on the cold pipe side to make sure there is no transfer of heat from where the hot water pipes are through to the cold water. So a bit over the top, belts and braces, but that's what we wanted done. Then up here we've got heat recovery pipes coming in, so they're in position ready to service then the outlets, and all the electrics are piped round now in here. So there's quite a lot going on, it's complicated. We've still got the speaker cables to put in. So on the ground floor of the house, throughout the entire house, I want speakers that we can connect to some form of an app on your phone and you can ping music to it. So picture Christmas time and you can have Christmas music throughout the whole house. That'd be mint. Okay, so then what we've got in the living room now, so the ceiling detail in here, if you remember me saying, we're putting a box in around the edge, so the ceiling will come across from the centre working out, and then at the edges it goes down to the edges, about 800 mil around the edges. And what that's going to give us is a service void for running everything that we need to run within it, but also it will give quite a nice finish detail from the underside. So services wise, we've got these red pipes. So again, they're the ones you've just seen coming from the utility going to the upstairs to service the manifold for the underfloor heating. The green ducting is the extraction and inlet of air from the heat recovery system into the room. I don't want the discs on show in here, so we're going to hide them in the box section and leave that box section around the edge maybe an inch lower, so there's an inch perimeter gap all the way around. We're going to light that so there's a nice glow of light coming through it, but it's going to service the heat recovery in terms of the airflow in and out. So that'll, and you won't have to look at any discs or anything then. So that's all of that. Again, electrics are piped round. We've got some speaker cable to run in here. And then we've got the media wall. So we've got to have, or we are having, the TV mounted on the wall. I wanted everything to be completely flush, tidy, finished, mint. So we've built this media wall so we can service all of the electrics and everything behind, as in this gap here. So you can see this has been completely tanked first, and then we've put the stud work in. So we've oversized the gap at the minute for the telly. I wish the telly was going to be that big, but it's not. And then what will happen is we'll frame that in, and the same again down here where we've got the sound bar gap, we'll frame that in with the plasterboard and the bits and bobs that will go on, and then it'll all be plastered, and then the telly will be flush along the front, and then we can do our paneling and bits and bobs that we want to do either side with maybe a couple of lights either side of the telly. The only other thing in here is the chimney. Now if you remember the ingle nook that I asked Edwina several times on, and she was happy, but then she wasn't happy when it was built, so we've had to adjust what we're doing here. We've knocked off the front face, so the two pillars that come out, the brick returns that come out. We've studded it out so it's the same width, if you like, but the ingle nook itself becomes slightly narrower. We're going to clad that back of the ingle nook in with something. I'm just waiting for a few designs to be done on that, and then we'll put what you would normally see as a traditional style mantelpiece. So you'll have two pillars and a beam across the top that'll come in. I think we're looking at stone at the minute, so I think that's what we're going to do with it. So basically we've studded this out then, inside and up here. We've got the two pillars that go on either side, which will probably be about there roughly, which leaves a margin up the side of the stud work. That whole stud arrangement there gives us a fake breast. Now, some people don't want a fake breast, they want natural, which would just be the wall, but I've always been one of them that goes bigger, so hence we're having fake breast. Okay, so the only thing left downstairs then is we've got the toilet here, so there's nothing really going on in there at the minute. This is where the stairs, so you are now standing in the staircase. So the staircase will be coming in and going down here, and then under the stairs is going to be like the under the stairs cupboard where you put all your junk, but we're bringing everything into here. So all the cables now that are starting to come in, James from JDC said, from this line back, he wants all of that to service everything for the house. So in here, we're having all of your HDMI cables coming back from the TVs. We're having all the audio cables coming back for the amps. Everything will be serviced from here. So there's going to be quite a lot going on. There already is, but there's going to be quite a lot more going on in here. But then we haven't got anything anywhere else. So for argument's sake, in the living room, I want the lights dimmable, but I don't want dimmer switches because I think they look horrible. So we're having an on and off switch in the living room, but the dimmer switches will be located in here. So it's a bit more cabling, a bit more work, but ultimately we haven't got them horrible dimmer switches in every room then. Because the chances are by the time you set your mood lighting on day one as to what level of brightness that you want, you're never really going to adjust that ever again. So on the underside of the stairs, that'll be all panelled in and everything will be nice and finished and you won't be able to see any of it, it'll all be tucked away. That's it on the downstairs. I'm not going to take you upstairs today because there is so many people here that there's no room to move up there because JDC are all of their guys are here. We've got Winder Wayne and his guys are here, they're upstairs. We've got Wayne's upstairs. We've got the aircon guys upstairs as well. So it's just flooded with people up there at the minute. So if you like what you've seen, hit subscribe and ring the bell and we'll catch you next time. Cheers.